Oh, hey, what are you doing here? Well, since you're here, I was just about to make some peach cobbler. If you want to hang out and watch, it's cool. Um, I'm Chef Vigilante, and I have a different approach to cooking. Come on. Well, I wasn't expecting you to come by, but welcome. Today we're going to make peach cobbler. And peach cobbler I remember from my childhood. So my mother had some ripe peaches, some sugar, some flour, and there was always self-rising flour in the house, and she just took all that stuff and threw it together. Seems of late that peach cobbler's become like the structured event where you have to have the self-rising flour in the perfect amount and the butter in the perfect amount, and you go to the store and you hope to find ripe peaches. Well, I decided to make the peach cobbler today because I looked in around the house and in the cupboard. I got some milk. Had some milk in the fridge. I got some sugar. Now this is organic sugar. I didn't have any regular sugar, but that's alright. I'm craving peach cobbler today, and that's what I want to make. Self-rising flour, butter, peaches, and I mean crazy ripe peaches. These are overripe. That's fine. That's perfect. It's exactly what I want for a peach cobbler. Some cornstarch, salt, and the sugar. I just had enough to mix in with the self-rising flour to make the cobbler part, and I didn't have enough to sweeten the peaches. No panic. Vigilante is here. I got some cane syrup. I think it's going to add better flavor anyway. My mother wouldn't balk at this. She'd use what she had in the cabinet. We wouldn't have to run to the supermarket. Let's just do it. Alright, let's get started. Now, the other things you're going to need is some sort of vessel to cook the peach cobbler in. I'm going for the cast iron skillet because I love the aesthetic. Cast iron, it looks cool on the table. And a big bowl. I always choose the biggest bowl because I cannot stand starting in a little bowl, moving to a larger bowl, larger bowl, larger bowl. Go with a big bowl. Stop. And every big bowl needs a big wooden spoon, right? Now, we're going to start with the self-rising flour. Self-rising flour goes in the bowl. Pay close attention. This is very difficult. Now we add a little sugar. The self-rising flour and the sugar get sifted very carefully. Sifted, yeah, whatever. Just mix it up with a whisk. And if you whisk for about 30 seconds, that should be fine. That'll be fine. If your directions say sift before measuring, then you might want to sift. But if you just want to mix up the dry ingredients, whisking does just fine. Now, carefully cut in the butter using a pastry cutter. That's right, just pinch it in. That'll do just fine. So, we have 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. We have 1 cup of sugar. I chose the organic sugar because it chose me. That's all that was in the cabinet. You can use any kind of sugar. You could even use brown sugar if you wanted more molasses flavor. And 1 stick of butter. And you notice I'm just pinching it in here, making a big mess in my hands. That's alright, who cares? So we just pinch this in, get this all done. Now, once it's all pinched in, I'm just dividing the butter up into big chunks here. I'm just going to coat the butter with the flour sugar mix. And that's self-rising flour, don't forget that. And now I'm truly pinching it in to the mix. And what this is going to do is going to disperse the butter throughout. There's so many different types of recipes with this. I like the butter pinched in so that there's pockets of butter in the cobbler when I'm done. But you can also opt to use the same amount of butter, pour the milk in with the sugar and the flour, and then melt the butter and whisk in the melted butter. It makes a different texture, a more refined texture. A little bit more on the rugged side. I like the rustic nature of this, the country feel of the peach cobbler. Alright, now take a look at this. The butter is mixed in, and it looks like little granules of sand or about the size of sugar peas or something like that. You've heard all that crap. That's what it's supposed to look like. Alright, now let's move on to the milk. Now just pour the milk in. That's 1 cup, 1/2 cup milk, so 1.5 cups of milk, and we're just going to loosely stir this in. You want it to be like a loose batter. Over here I have a already greased skillet. You can use spray or butter or whatever you want. I used a little bit of butter and rubbed it in there. And now I'm just going to pour in the batter. It's going to be pretty incredible. Now, let's move on to the peaches. These peaches do not look so aesthetically pleasing. The peaches were extremely ripe, so as I'm cutting them up, they're falling apart. When I took the skins off, they're falling apart. Now, one of Chef Vigilante's sayings, mantras, is no flavor left behind. Look over here. In here are all the peaches. Now, what I'm going to do with this, or excuse me, these are all the peach skins. What I'm going to do with the peach skins is I will actually take these, put a little bit of water and a lot of sugar over them, and make a peach syrup. Don't throw anything away. No flavor left behind. In with the peaches, a pinch of salt, a little bit of cornstarch, not so much, probably a tablespoon, tablespoon and a half, and about a half cup cane syrup. You could use sorghum syrup. The only reason I'm using the syrup is because I ran out of sugar. And there's no reason to panic when you run out of things. Now this just gets mixed up. Part of the Vigilante philosophy is using what you have, and using what you have well. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. Mix all this up, make sure that those little pieces of cornstarch are all mixed in. The cornstarch will help thicken this. It will also mix well with the cobbler filling. Now, I'm going to take this and add it to the cobbler. Alright, pay close attention because this is very important. When adding the peaches, you need to be very delicate. Delicate. Are you ready? Okay, just dump them in. Like so. I was joking about the delicate part. The peaches and all the good stuff go in here. Mix them around. Now, what's going to happen to this is all this is going to rise up. This batter is going to kind of wrap around the peaches, and it's really going to end up being like a peach bread pudding or a giant peach sweet biscuit is what's going to happen when it's done. There's nothing better than this. You can make some buttermilk ice cream. It's not a bad idea. If I find you up in the cabinet again, maybe we'll do some buttermilk ice cream next time. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Chef Vigilante. I'm going to throw this in a 350-degree oven until it's done, and we'll see you next time.